जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अस्तोतर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT फाउंडर-आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अस्तोतर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप धाम की जय। मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter number 11, The Perfect Society, 4 Social Classes. We'll be reading verse 26, 27 and 28 today. Sammajana Uplebhyam Griha Mandana Vartane Swayam Mandita Nityam Parimishta Parichhada Sammajanopalepabhyam Grihamandanavartane Swayam cha mandita nityam Parimrishta 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 parichhada. Mataji's. Sammajanopalepabhyam Grihamandanavartane Swayam cha mandita nityam Parimrishta parichhada Sammajanopalepabhyam Grihamandanavartane Swayam cha mandita nityam Parimrishta parichhada. Verse number 27. Kamer uvachave savadi para prashyena damnecha vakyai satyai priyai damenacha kale kale bhajet patim. So we'll go word by word now. Sammarjana, by cleaning. Upalebhyam, by smearing with water or other cleansing liquids. Griha, the household. Mandana, decorating. Vartane, remaining at home and engaging in such duties. Swayam, personally. Cha, also. Mandita, finely dressed. Nityam, always. Paramishtra, cleansed. Parichada, garments and household utensils. Translation, and then we'll read another verse, then we'll have the purport. So translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A chaste woman must dress nicely and decorate herself with golden ornaments for the pleasure of her husband. Always wearing clean and attractive garments, she should sweep and clean the household with water and other liquids so that the entire house is always pure and clean. She should collect the household paraphernalia and keep the house always aromatic with incense and flowers, and must be ready to execute the desires of her husband. Being modest and truthful, controlling her senses, speaking in sweet words, a chaste woman should engage in the service of her husband with love according to time and circumstances. Text 28. Santushta lolupa daksha dharmagna priya satyavak apramata suchi snigdha patim tva apatim bhajet. A chaste woman should not be greedy but satisfied in all circumstances. She must be very expert in handling household affairs and should be fully conversant with the religious principles. She should speak pleasingly and truthfully and should be very careful and always clean and pure. Thus, a chaste woman should engage with affection in the service of husband who is not fallen. Purport. According to the injunction of Yajnavalkya, an authority on religious principles, Ashuddhe sampratiksho hi mahapathaka dushita. One is considered contaminated by reactions of great sinful activities when one has not been purified according to the methods of Dasha Vida Samskara. In Bhagavad Gita, however, Lord says, Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama. Those miscreants who do not surrender unto me are the lowest of the mankind. The word naradhama means non-devotee. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Ye bhaje sei bada abhakta hina chara. Anyone who is a devotee is sinless. One who is not a devotee, however, is the most fallen and condemned. It is recommended, therefore, that a chaste wife not associate with a fallen husband. A fallen husband is one who is addicted to the four principles of sinful activity, namely illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Specifically, if one is not a soul surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is understood to be contaminated. Thus, a chaste wife is advised not to agree to serve such a husband. It is not that a chaste woman should be like a slave with her husband who is Thus, a chaste wife is advised not to agree to serve such a husband. It is not that a chaste woman should be like a slave while her husband is Naradhama, the lowest of men. Although the duties of women are different from those of a man, a chaste woman is not meant to serve a fallen husband. If her husband is fallen, it is recommended that she give up his association. Giving up the association of her husband does not mean, however, that a woman should marry again and thus indulge in prostitution. If a chaste woman unfortunately marries a husband who is fallen, she should live separately from him. Similarly, a husband can separate himself from a woman who is not chaste according to the descriptions of Shastra. The conclusion is that a husband should be a pure Vaishnava and a woman should be a chaste wife with the symptoms described in this regard. Then both of them will be happy and make spiritual progress in Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, wonderful purport, very insightful. We have been reading this 7th canto, 11th chapter, and the title is The Perfect Society and 4 Social Classes. So this is a conversation happening between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Narad Muni. And Yudhishthir Maharaj heard about the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj, and then he was inspired and he asked questions about what is pure devotional service. In the sense, he asked about Sanatan Dharma, and he also asked about Varnashram Dharma. So we have been reading, and for now we have read that how Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yatho Bhakti Rathokshaje, Narad Muni is advising about this, what he's heard from not his own knowledge, but what is spoken by Lord Vishnu himself. And then he is describing about Varnashram Dharma. We have been reading about the 30 qualities. Then we have been reading about qualities of individual. Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra and Kshatriya. We have been reading about all these things. And then now today, from past few verses, we are reading about women, the chaste women and all those qualities. So we saw about how the society is perfect when there are perfect men, perfect brahmanas, perfect kshatriyas, perfect vaishyas, perfect shudras. And then now we are reading about the perfect women. And when perfect men, perfect women live together, there are perfect families. And when the family is perfect, then the society becomes perfect. So this is the flow of what we have been reading so far. Now, what is the difference? We always notice that there is always this difference between the modern society and the society that was described, that is described in the scriptures. There is ideal. We know it's far from perfect, the society that we're living in now. So what's the difference? The modern society is more centered towards the self. Everybody is fighting for rights, women rights and animal rights and this rights and gay rights and all these rights. All these are centered towards the self. However, when we read about this Vedic society, it's more centered towards everyone. It's more centered towards how you are performing your duties in relation to others. Like we saw how a man, he takes care of the household, how Brahman, Vaishya, Kshatriya, they do their duties. It's not centered to the self. It's centered more towards their role in a community. It's centered more towards what they can do to contribute to the society as a whole. And that's how the society becomes perfect. And that's how everything flows, when everything, like a jigsaw puzzle, when all the pieces are fit together, everything works and it shows a big, beautiful, nice picture. Similarly, when every character, every person in the society knows what their role is and perform their duties accordingly, then the society becomes perfect. And that is why here we are talking about the duties or role of a woman. Normally, when we think of, when outsiders, they think of they think of this Vedic view, what we read, they think about women as somebody who's housebound, like a slave, or somebody who's just meant to do the domestic chores, somebody who's just meant to be inferior. However, this is completely, Prabhupada has given us wonderful purport. And this is completely not what it is said. Prabhupada has also used the word that woman is not a slave. Then what exactly is the role of women? We are saying not this, not that. What exactly is the role of women then? It is said that women's role is very, very important. Even some poets have said, a hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. That means whoever, the mother who is, pushing the swing, that is a very powerful. The role of women is very powerful. All these 4 varnas that we saw, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, no matter who they are, the first guru for them is mother. Mother is the first introduction. And this does not begin after birth. Here we read about the samskaras, the 10 samskaras, Dashvidha samskaras. And the first samskara is Garbhadan samskar, which is even before the child is born. And then there is some while the woman is pregnant, and there are so many samskaras. And that is what samskaras are, not merely a ritual, not merely a ceremony. All these qualities, the spiritual qualities, are imbibed by a child right before conception, then during what the mother does. Like we all have the example that Arjuna spoke about the battlefield, and he was teaching about this Chakravyu. He was speaking about this to Subhadra while she was pregnant, and Parikshit Abhimanyu heard it in the stomach itself. So it's not that, it's just some mere tales. The child learns a lot right from the womb. We know about Prahlad Maharaj, how he was so fortunate that Narad Muni was giving him all the teachings and he was already there. So this is the role of mother. They are not just there, just basic, like they say in the modern time of what it is, full-time mother or some housewife was something that everybody said, oh, this is very inferior, no, we need something better. Then came homemaker and full-time mom and like stay-at-home mom and so many different titles. But that is not just a job. It's a big responsibility. It's not just that you are just cleaning the house. Here it is said, she's cleaning the house, she's keeping the house clean. So what is all this purpose for? Why does one do all these things? The purpose is the whole atmosphere that is created by doing these activities, it becomes spiritual. Prabhupada said cleanliness is next to godliness. So when there is whole atmosphere of cleanliness, the place does not remain like an ordinary place. The place is transformed to an ashrama, especially, there is incense, there is flowers, and all these things that are there in the house. The whole atmosphere is transformed with that cleanliness. And that cleanliness not only means outside, the cleanliness also means inside. What we are thinking, what we are doing, what we are, the way the thought process is, that transforms one's character. Because what we think, we are then creating an image and then we are going to act on it eventually. So this is talking about how we can create that strong character of women. It is talking about what is the role of women that can transform it's the basic steps. Like, somebody is just a small child, they are first connected with their mother. So her character is easily transformed, is transferred to the offsprings. We can see that it's not only emotional, but it is also the learnings that the child has right from childhood. They are then transferred to the children. There is this one famous story that there was this thief, and he had been stealing right from childhood. He was stealing and stealing and stealing. And he used to bring all that to home, and mother never said anything. She just used to enjoy, and she's like, ha ha ha, you stole something. And then it became so bad that this thief, he was given a punishment, capital punishment. He was hanged to death. And he said, what's your last wish? That's generally what they do. When there is somebody who's on capital punishment, they usually ask, what do you want? He said, I want to see my mother. And then when the mother came, he just bit her ear off. It's like, oh my God, what a horrendous thing to do, everybody. Like, why did you do this? It's like, that's because my mother always heard what I did, but she was indifferent. She did not do anything. And my character, what I am now, is because of that. Of course, it's not blaming, we are not giving any blames, but the point is, it's like a clay. The child and the mind is like a clay. Whatever way, you can, you give the shape, it will be there. It will take the shape and the form accordingly. So if the atmosphere is spiritual, if the whole home is surcharged with spiritual energy, then that child also becomes a perfect, he's learning to be a devotee, and then he becomes, when he grows up, he becomes a perfect, whatever Brahmana, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, whatever his role. And then that becomes the perfect, he becomes a perfect individual in the society. And that's how, when all these units are perfect, that's how the whole society becomes perfect. We have also read in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how Arjuna is giving reasons why he doesn't want to fight. And one of the reasons is he's talking about the role of women, that how, when women will be polluted, then at that point of time there'll be no elders, there'll be women, they'll be all independent, and then all the family traditions will be vanquished, and there'll be Varna Shankaras and all. And it's talking of the same thing, the character of women. That if women are not strong in character, the society will be full of unwanted population, which is nothing but Varna Shankara. And which is what is happening in the modern society now. Lots of crimes, lots of problems, those things that did not exist in the past. And it's because there is no proper training. People's, first nowadays, rather than mother being the first teacher, they have the phones. And whatever, even like a small child, few months, they know how to do this. Swipe right, swipe left, this, everything they know. And it's just because there is no proper training. So this is the role of mother. This is the role of a woman in society, and this is what it is. It's said that Prabhupada specifically said that women. I like to quote it properly. What Prabhupada said, that amazing. So the Prabhupada says that the closest or the most selfless love that we can see in this material world is that of between a mother and a child. Rest everything is full of desires, full of motives, full of lot of like a contract. Like we can see even today these days, the marriage are also a contract. There is something called prenup. What is yours you maintain, what is mine I maintain. Like marriage are also contract. And the marriages are also based on sense gratification. Like, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, and we both are satisfied. And the moment those terms are not working, the moment that it's not working, that contract, terms of the contract are not kept, you're not satisfying me, I'm not satisfying you, we see a lot of divorce. And that is what is happening. But here, a lot of things are said. How should a woman behave? It said, a woman must dress nicely and decorate herself with golden ornaments for the pleasure of the Lord. So this is one thing. The woman keeps herself so nice, so much like clean and pure, that the husband is attracted to her. So he doesn't look out. He's not looking towards other people. And then what it is said is, there is another thing. Then it says, okay, she should decorate herself with golden ornaments and everything. So does that mean that we always think of one more sari, one more gold, one more, pester her husband that I want this, I want this? No. The next verse says, should not be greedy. So this is also there, not just, thinking about how I look and how the saris and how the gold ornaments, but there is also there, not to be greedy. It's very, very important, it's the nature of women somehow that they are very chanchala and they tend to divert. But scriptures are there to guide us. Scriptures are saying here, they must be satisfied in all circumstances. So this is also one more thing that we see in the modern society, that if there is something wrong, if the husband is not healthy, if some circumstances he doesn't look as good, whatever happens, then the terms are not fulfilled of their desires, their contract, and the marriage ends. But then Prabhupada gives a wonderful example. Prabhupada has himself seen that on the sides of the street in Bombay there are a lot of beggars. And Prabhupada, he said that this is 1930s or 1940s. He said that there was this woman, young, and somehow the husband's face was deformed. He was, some accident or something happened and the face was completely deformed. But even though they are beggars, they are clean. So the wife was taking good care of him, keeping him clean, and not just, okay, his husband just, but keeping him clean. She is young, she is beautiful, but still she is there with that deformed husband and still serving that. So even those who are like not so well-to-do, they are also doing this. This is what the Vedic culture was, that it's vows. Like we have initiation vows, even like marriage is also one of the 10 samskaras. And there is a vow the husband takes, and then there is vows that, wife takes. And it's fulfilling those vows for life, that until something, they say until death do us apart. So this is what it's actually meant to be. It's not just some things change, it said, what's that? Love at first sight and divorce at first fight. Not just, okay, we everything, and the moment there is first argument, okay, finish. Not that. It's commitment. It's something that is why one has to rely on the scriptures, that what the scriptures say, what has to be done, what not to do. And like I am saying, if all the parts of the society, they know exactly what to do, and it comes together, everything fits together nicely, and the society becomes ideal on its own. And that's why Prabhupada also gave us so many insights. He knew about what happens in the modern days. So he also gave some wonderful examples here, like some scenarios here. What is Prabhupada saying? Prabhupada is saying about let's say now that divorce, is that an option? That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Prabhupada is saying that what happens in case one woman is very chaste, she is doing everything, and the husband is not chaste. Husband is not, he's a naradam. So Prabhupada is giving a wonderful insight into that matter here, that it's not that, women is a slave. Whatever, what they say, Pati Parmeshwar, that's the thing. Yes, Pati is Parmeshwar if he is also worshipping Parmeshwar. But if he is not, if he is engaging in all these activities which are sinful, can be so many problems, but Prabhupada has narrowed it down to 4. If he is not, if he is into illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, is into all these things, then the women can be separate from husband. It's not that they have to serve such a husband, that, it's not like you are now that together, now finish, end. You don't have to. That's why sometimes when people say that Vedic culture is about suppressing women or suppressing, like keeping them as slave, that's not what it is said here. Women do have their own position, they can. Prabhupada has said such wonderfully here, that they should not live together. They can be separated, but there is no question of finding another one and marrying another one. That's the criteria that Prabhupada puts. Because there are sometimes, it so happens, there are scenarios where you have to. Like I know one case in person that the husband suffered from somehow AIDS. Now how does that even happen? We all know. And in that case, there was no point in staying together and keeping Mataji and that husband together, and then she also gets sick somehow. And that's why it was advised they become separated. So this is what is advised even in scriptures, that not that you just become like a horse. The horse has got those things that they can't look on right or left. Scriptures here are advising us in what case women can just become separated from the husband. This is also there. So the idea is that the society is based not on what we need, what you need, what I need. It's how we can serve the Lord together. That's the whole point. That's the whole idea. And that's where the whole purport is based on. That it's not just, see, the last says, make spiritual progress in Krishna consciousness. That's how it's meant to be. So if that is the goal, if both husband and wife, they have different desires, they are together, they have different upbringing, different experiences, they are coming together, and if they still maintain their individuality, which is allowed, but if the goal is to serve and please Krishna, if Krishna is kept at center, then they'll be happy. Like, we always give, Prabhupada always used to give this example that, you go to a riverside and you throw a stone. And if you throw a stone, it forms those concentric circles, right? But then, if I throw a stone and if you throw a stone, Sivya, what happens? It just collides. Similarly, if husband and wife, they keep their own desires and maintain about their own individuality, then there will be clashes. But if they both keep Krishna in center and the stone goes in the same place, there will be concentric circles. And when husband and wife are in unison, in harmony, perfect relation with Krishna, the offspring, they will see this and they will imbibe those qualities and they will also become like that. There are examples of wonderful mothers we have in scriptures. Dhruv Maharaj's mother, she was personally going through a lot in her life. But when Dhruv Maharaj suffered the problems, she did not say that, okay, that's fine, this is part of life. She said, go and worship Lord Vishnu. And we know what happened to Dhruv Maharaj. Then he saw Lord Vrishni-garbha. And then even at the end of his life, Dhruv Maharaj was so grateful that, my mother is my guru. That, when the airplanes came from Vaikuntha to take him, he first asked, what about my mother? And the Vishnu Duta said, no, your mother is already gone. So this is the glorious role of mother. They're not just keeping house clean and just all those menial chores. That's not the part. This is the role the mother have. And that is why Matajis is the word Prabhupada said. The females are given respect as Mataji, mother, not sister, not anything else, not Devi, nothing like that. Mataji, it's a very, very important responsibility. And because she was such pure in character, look at what happened to her children. Another example that comes in mind of a powerful, strong mother is Kunti Maharani. Now, Queen Kunti, we all know, she had 5 glorious sons. Such an exemplary woman that, normally there is problems between co-wives. So she had Madri, who was her co-wife. And when Pandu left his body, Madri said, I may see my children and your children. They were separate, like Yudhishthir, Bhima and Arjuna were born of Kunti's womb, and Nakul and Sahadev were born of Madri's womb. So Madri said, I may see them, your children, my children, but I know you are so strong in your character that you will not distinguish between these children. You will see them as your own. And then she sacrificed, she went in the holy pyre along with her husband. But, Queen Kunti stayed back to take care of children. And we know that they faced so many challenges. Any challenge, like we all face challenges in our life, what's new? But her challenges were very, very severe. Just imagine a single mother and her children poisoned, everyday clash. This is wrong, your children this. First she had to prove actually. Forget about all this. First she had to actually prove that these are, prove her character, that these are not just because Pandu had got this curse that he can't have children. So first she had to prove that yes, these are authentic Pandu Maharaj's children. Just imagine that. You lost your husband, you lost everything, you have 5 children responsibility, and suddenly you have to even prove that, these are like bona fide children. They are not Varna Shankara, they are not like born out of wedlock or anything, something like that. So she had to first prove that. There were some rishis and they came and they confirmed. So she had to first prove that, and once that was there was always a challenge. There was this Duryodhana and their party, and they were always trying to do damage to such an extent. Even as children, Bhim was given poison and thrown in river. And then as they grew up, there was a house made of wax, and there was an attempt to kill them. But she is such a strong character, she's such a strong lady that she went in forest along with her children. She did not say, I'm just going to sit, okay, it doesn't matter to me. She could have done that. She could have just stayed back, comforts of her home, but she went with her children and at every step was guiding them in the right way. Such an exemplary mother. And this is what is the role of a mother. It is said, we all know about the famous verse, Rishabhdev says to his sons that, 5.5.18, that one should not become a guru, one should not become a father, one should not become a mother, one should not become a demigod unless they can deliver their dependence. So such is a responsibility. It's not an ordinary thing. It's not just about producing children, not just taking care of the house, cleaning and all these things. It's way, way, way deeper. It's a big, huge responsibility that unless you can deliver your dependence, you don't become a mother. How important is that role? And they have said both father and mother. So it's not just that, father just goes out, he's doing something important, mother stays back, she's a housewife and she's not. This is equal important role that they have in the society. And this is what happens, that when everybody knows their duties, when everybody knows their roles, then the result is the children will automatically be so full of character, so spiritual, that they'll create changes in society which we all can see. Like we saw in the case Yudhishthir Maharaj, Arjuna, they were so exemplary, they were so powerful in their character that their kingdom, they ruled very successfully, everybody was happy in their kingdom, right? So this is what happens. Then just some examples of chaste. We saw about mothers, what are examples of strong, powerful mothers, some examples of chaste wife also. We know about Mother Sita, we know about how she is strong, chaste, and she followed, she is king's daughter, but she still went along with her husband, giving up all the comforts. That is what here in the Purport it says, that woman should be engaged in service of husband with love according to time and circumstances. Not that just when you are king and I have 10 maids around me, I will serve you. Not like that. Krishna, he had so many wives. And all the wives, they had so many maid servants. Each of them, they had like so many help at their hand. But when it comes to serving Krishna, each wife took pleasure in it. They did not just assign the roles and duties. They personally did cooking for Krishna. They personally served Krishna. And we have that famous pastime where, Krishna book elaborately describes about how Rukmini was standing and fanning Lord, when he was taking prasadam and all those things. That's the pleasure they derived in serving Krishna. So this is what is needed. And not just according to time, okay, we have palace and we serve accordingly. Mother Sita, she used to serve in such a way, even in forest, she used to just serve, and Lord Ram was so pleased with her behavior, with her character, with her service. Draupadi, she had 5 husbands. But what she used to be like, there is a pastime where all the queens of Krishna are asking that how, you are serving your husband so nicely. What is your secret? How, you are doing this? And then she tells them that, I wake up before anybody else and I sleep. I'm the last one to sleep. So if you just, if you're just sitting on a chair and giving orders, that doesn't happen, right? But she herself is doing all these things. She's setting an example, that not just bossing around. But she used to take pleasure in all these things. So there are so many things she used to do, and this is one of the things she said. The other thing she said is, I only advise when I'm asked for. When the king's daughters were, raised, they had so much knowledge, similar knowledge to the princes about politics, about fight and everything. They were not just like ordinary girls. They knew everything. But Draupadi's character was, she only spoke when she was asked for advice. So this is also one of the things. There are so many points they say, but this is one thing that Draupadi mentioned, that how she's taking care of her household. And then there are examples. There is this Naradamyanti. There is a pastime where her husband also became poverty-stricken, and they became so poverty-stricken that there was no cloth. She is also king's daughter, but she still continued serving her husband. She still continued serving so much that, doesn't matter. I'm king's daughter, okay, you don't have money anymore, you've lost all your opulence. No. So this is what it means to serve according to time and circumstance. Doesn't matter what you have. You have a whole opulence at your excess, use that. If you don't have, whatever you have, you use that to serve your husband. And then we'll discuss about some examples from scriptures which Prabhupada here describes, Naradhama. It's very interesting. With scriptures also we have some examples like that. We have example of Mandodari. Mandodari is Ravan's wife. And we knew what kind of illicit activities Ravan was engaged in. He had women, he was gambling. Though born in a very, very pious Brahmana family, he was still engaged in, all these illicit activities. So much so that he kidnapped Mother Sita, the goddess of fortune. So much blind by his lusty desires. And what did Mandodari do? She was not jealous, because Ravana had so many other females, co-wives and everything. But she said, this one female, please, don't do anything wrong here. And she advised and constantly advised. But of course, Ravana did not listen, and we knew the end he made. But she was still chaste, she was still pure in character, and she still thought of the perfect well-being of her husband. Right? Then there is example of Ajamil. What happened to Ajamil? We have all heard his pastime, that he was with a beautiful young wife with parents and all, but he gave them up. And ultimately married or started living with somebody else. But what happened to the wife? She did not go and marry someone else. She still was there. And Ajamil then regretted in the end when he realized his mistake. He was regretting that, I had such beautiful wife and I did not take care of her. So these are the examples that they were separated, they were giving the right advice, but they still remained chaste. They were not thinking of some other men or going somewhere else or doing anything else. So these are the examples of chaste women. These are the examples of what a strong character is like. We saw mothers, we saw examples like that. There is one more example that Prabhupada gives in case of Ramanujacharya. The Ramanujacharya had a disciple, so he went one day, he knew Ramanujacharya knew this is their house, and he knocked, and the house is open, nobody came out. So he's wondering, what is happening, this is my disciple's house, I know house is open, why is nobody answering? And then he knocked one more time, and then came a knock from inside, and he understood that there is somebody inside, there is my disciple's wife inside, but she's not coming out because they have no cloth. So poor, just imagine, no cloth. No cloth, so they were living naked in the house, whatever house they had. So then Ramanujacharya gave his cloth, and then she put it on, she came out, offered obeisances to Gurudev, and then she said, okay, please come for prasadam. And just imagine, they are so poor, they have no cloth, and then she's saying, come for prasadam. So then she goes to a nearby grocer. Now this grocer was always interested in her. She somehow used to say, why you are living with your husband, give him up, I'll take good care of you, this, that. This one time she agreed to his proposal. I said, I'll agree to your proposal, just give me everything, rice, ghee, whatever I need, because my Gurudev is coming. So what she did, she took everything and she made a good offering, and then the husband came home. The husband came home and then she said, "Oh, how you got all these things? We don't have any money. How did you get all these things?" And she told about the arrangement. I agreed to our grocer's demands. I'll go to him in exchange of this. Husband said, "Okay, no problem. Now that you have promised, you take all this prasadam and go to him." This is what happened. Really, this happened. And then when she went, the heart of the grocer, whatever, the storekeeper changed. He said, "You are such pure in your character, such chaste. I don't want anything. Whenever you need anything, just come and take." So these are the examples. She served to the best of her capacity according to her circumstances, and she served a guru also in this way. Not that just okay, husband, because you are ultimately. Husband is serving the guru. So when the wife is serving husband nicely, she is pleasing guru, pleasing Krishna. So this is how it goes, because normally when sannyasis or advanced devotees, you can't go, Matajis can't just go and touch their feet or something. But they are getting all this mercy is flowing through husband, because she is serving husband is serving them, and like that. That's how it goes. And they both serving Krishna together. So this is what happens. This is how the society functions as a whole, when everybody knows their duties, knows what their responsibilities are, and then work in a harmony as a team. So I was just thinking, maybe we can we can just some few pointers on how the husband and wife can live together, just like what is grihastha ashram, how can that, we all have differences, we all have some conflicts. Just few points that I found maybe we can use. So first one is, if we based our marriage, if we base our relationship, the household as a whole, if we base it on guru, sadhu and shastra, not fulfilling each other's demands, desires, of course that is there, that is one goal of it, but those desires should be in terms of, in the jurisdiction of guru, sadhu and shastra. If they are there, then we can work as a team and work towards that. Otherwise, the example of stone again, that it will be concentric, not concentric circles, there will be clashes. The second is focused on spiritual growth and progress. So everybody's goal in the family is centered to Krishna. Be it husband, wife, children, everybody knows that it's not what we like, it's not what we want, but it's what Krishna wants. We keep that in center. Because if all the individuals with all their own karmas, their own desires act in a different way, then there'll be a chaos. But if everybody is acting in such a way, that, okay, this is Krishna's household, this is the way we live, then it becomes easier. It's not seen, marriage is not seen as opportunity for sense enjoyment just because husband and wife are living together. Or it's a concession for people with half-hearted desires. No. Krishna is still the center. You are still associating with female, but there are rules, regulations, and according to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Then there is something called spiritual equality. So all this that what is happening in the modern world, it's men and women rights, liberation, women's liberation. It's because they are artificially trying to put equality. They are trying to see on the basis of the body. But if a family is based on spiritual equality, that we are all parts and parcels of Krishna, and if we work in that respect, then there is automatically spiritual equality. Be it men, women, children, there is no inequality. Everybody is just working as eternal servant of Krishna. But everybody has their different roles, and they are working in their duties in those regards. Then there is positive and realistic expectations. There is one thing, like, there were a few days ago, Nitai Sevini Mataji and Samba Prabhu were here, and there was a point that was made that not everybody is going to be like Prahlad Maharaj. We don't expect our children to be like Prahlad Maharaj. So there has to be of course we give them best what we can. Even with husband and wife, we try, but those expectations have to be realistic. We don't have to just judge them based on the ideal, but we have to work towards becoming that ideal. Not that, oh, this is wrong, that is wrong, and this is what they must do, and this is... Everything has to be based on realistic also. As much as we want to follow Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, but they also tell us to behave according to time, place, circumstances. So that becomes very important. Now, then there is mutual respect and appreciation. Okay, not just because you're staying at home, what you're doing all day, that's a normal thing. What you're doing all day, that's not how it is. It's respect and appreciation. Yes, your role is important, my role is important, and together we are helping each other go towards Krishna. So there is mutual respect and appreciation in every aspect. Then there is commitment and dedication. Now this one is very important. There was this Prabhupada disciple, he was brahmachari, and he said to Prabhupada, now I want to get married. And Prabhupada said, okay. He got married. And sure enough, within few days he says, Prabhupada, I want to take sannyas now. And Prabhupada was very happy with that. Of course not. Prabhupada said, what you are going through is not because of your external circumstances, that you are single, you are married. You are lacking Krishna consciousness. You don't have that Krishna consciousness. That is why you're finding fault with situations around you. Similarly, it always, we have seen in Hollywood, Bollywood movies that, and they lived happily ever after. That never happens. When there is marriage, there are different people coming together, different background, upbringing, culture, beliefs, experiences, karma. So it's a lot of compromise, a lot of understanding, and a lot of commitment needed to still go through it. And Prabhupada has given us nicely here 4 criteria. If the husband is not following, you can give up. But other things, if there are conflicts and problems, you can always seek help. There is always, senior devotees available, guru is available. We have some temples have counseling system. Everything is available. But if those 4 criteria are not met, Prabhupada has told us here that there is always a separation possible. And that too can go according with instructions of senior devotees, guru, sadhu, shastra. That is something that can. But for it to be really, for the marriage and married life and the household to be really grihastha, there is commitment and dedication needed. And then there is open and honest communication. Most of the times he said, she said things in the mind, and then it doesn't work. When there is open and honest communication, then grihastha life can go very well. So, thank you all very much. I like to end here. Granth-Raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Any questions, comments? Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the nice class. If there is a married couple, okay, and the husband is inclined into spirituality, but the wife is not, how the husband should deal with the wife?
It's a very, very good question, Prabhu. When husband is more inclined to spirituality and wife is not, what to do? The question is, give a lot of love. Sometimes we see that person goes to spirituality and they forget, wife. The wife usually feels ignored and all. But give a lot of love. Give a lot of attention. Give not that just because you are not following my path, that you are not good. A lot of love. You still follow your principles. You still follow your commitment, whatever you are following. And with love, slowly, you will be able to attract them. This is a very common thing that happens. And I know an example that... And flip side, I know there is this Mataji, she was very much inclined in serving devotees, she took initiation, she progressed spiritually. But she always made sure her husband was taken care of. Always having prasadam for him, always taking care of his needs, what he needs, taking care of his family. And slowly now, after so many years, the husband also took up Krishna consciousness, both are initiated and practicing. So it's mainly with the love. You want to follow the principles but not ignore the other person. That's where the problem starts, when there is one person is left alone. But if they do it together and they talk open communication, I want to do this, it's just a matter of communication. It's just a matter of being honest what you want. And slowly, love after all attracts everyone. So if they, and Krishna is the center. If the devotees are channeling their love to Krishna, eventually the other person will also be pulled. And that happens in many cases. Like we've seen, even so many devotees in congregation, one person is inclined and the other person just takes up nicely. But it's a lot of giving. It's a lot of, you have to give a lot. You have to put a lot of effort into it. And then it slowly happens over a period of time. We can't suddenly expect overnight magic. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the nice class. Mataji, you mentioned how when we don't work under Guru Shastra and Lord Krishna, then there can be collision of circles. But Mataji, we see even sometimes when we work under Guru Shastra and Lord Krishna, there can be collision of circles, because like one person is inclined to another service and the other one is more inclined towards another. So how do we understand this?
Very good question. What is the center here? One person wants to do one service, one person wants to do another service. But what is the center? What is the center point? They want to serve Krishna. So there is no klesha. They are still trying to serve. But it's a different flavor. For example, you may like playing mridanga. I don't know how to play mridanga. Right? Same with husband and wife. One may like something, one may not like something. So according to your interest, if you are still serving Krishna, those little bit of background chatter is good. Because when you put two vessels together, there will be some noise, there will be some friction. That's okay, that's healthy friction. But it's not major to a point where I can't see your face, get out, I want divorce. It's not to that point. You still have your differences, but you work in such a way that it will happen. Because ultimately, if the center is Krishna, and both are trying to serve Krishna, there are even sometimes kleshas, like sometimes problems like who is serving, what is the best way to serve Krishna. But ultimately the center is Krishna. So those kind of kleshas, you can still have communication and accept it. And you can just work through it. It's kind of, those differences can be worked through. It's not something that, it's a major thing. Yeah? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
We came from Sydney first time to this temple.
Oh, Jai, welcome.
Shri Radha. Thank
Hare
you, Mataji. So actually when I came and I read the verse, then I realized that this verse is very difficult to explain. And then I saw brahmacharis here. And maybe I said, oh, like who is going to take the class? But when you sat on the Vyasasana and then you nicely explain about the verse, the chastity of the Matajis. And not only that, the importance of the balance you have nicely mentioned according to the Sanatan Dharma and is a modern, now we are in modern era. And with the nice examples and Srila Prabhupada quotes, even the Ramanujacharya's example. So it's so wonderfully you have explained. So thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. It's just, even when I read the verse, I was a bit like, chaste wife, how can, knowing myself, I'm thinking, how am I going to speak of it? But somehow Bhagavatam was merciful and I could take some. Also, I also like to mention, this is something personal, but we are talking, so I might even mention that when I finished my education, I was 2 years, I was being trained with two devotees. They are my Shiksha Guru, Jamuna Bhakti Mataji and Harichandra Prabhu. And both of them, they took so much effort in me. I was like their daughter. They already had daughters of my age. They were married, but now they took it their personal mission to, how I can live in such a way that my marriage is peaceful. And I still remember whatever teachings they gave me and whatever, I can speak or the way I can act or behave is because what they taught me. It's very, very, I'm very grateful to them because those 2 years actually, I can't, imagine how Krishna had planned for me to be in that place in association of that devotees and the learnings I had. It's just amazing. I still recall what they taught me and, I still try to live by what they taught me. So, yeah. Granth-Raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Padakamalang Sri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Sri Rupam Chakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Swam Sajivam Shadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devi Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitanscha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,